Hello, everyone. It's Jean from the Inky studio. I'm here for just a quick update on some questions that I've been asked over the past week. I haven't been able to answer them until now because I was traveling, visiting my daughter. She's just had her second child and she had a little baby girl. So I now have a grandson and a granddaughter. I'm so excited. It's just wonderful. So I had a good time. Then I caught a cold. And so it's been a while for me to connect with you all. But there were some questions in my comments that I'd like to answer here because they're kind of important. One of them has to do with a tutorial that I did quite a while ago where I did a Tim Holtz lookalike folio, or my take on, mimicking the Tim Holtz travel folio here. And I don't have the one I made anymore, but I'm going to use this as my demonstration. But I did fail to show what type of closure I put on this. And it's like, I work really hard with these tutorials and sometimes I leave things out. So I do depend upon you to let me know what I've left out. And Susan did remind me or show me, so I'm appreciative of that. Um, so what I had done is when you open it up and there's the spine right here on the right hand side, I put an eyelet in the middle, right there in the middle. And then I took elastic and I thread the elastic through that hole and I put a big knot, so the elastic I used was a lot thicker than this. It was, I don't know what millimeter it was, but it was a thick elastic that you can get like in the jewelry department, like at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Get the largest elastic that you can find. You usually get in a little small package. And I put it through the hole. I tied a sufficient knot, through it. And then the elastic then is sticking out like this when you get done. And I just use it to, let's see, kind of more thumbs here. I just used it to go like this then and close it up like that so that it's nice and tight. All right. So that's what I did. So remember, the tails are going to the inside and this loop is coming out of that eyelet hole, and then you just spread it around like that. Well, I'm all thumbs today. So that's how I did the closure on this. And then for the back, I just simply, see, the way Tim Holtz does it is like this, but I didn't. I ignored that. And I just covered the back just plain. That's all I did. Nothing fancy. I just put more of the paper I used here on the back is all I did. Now, the other question that I have gotten asked about this tutorial as well is about the it's about the sewing in of these waterfall pieces. And yes, I think sewing it in with a machine is a really probably the best way, I feel, to get the same look. But I do have, if you will look in the tutorial, an alternative to sewing by using eyelets to put it in. I got the question is, could you sew it by hand? And I don't think that a pamphlet stitch will secure it well enough. It might. I mean, I don't know. Try it. I think if you want to sew it by hand, you should do just a running stitch that had like maybe maybe not any more than half an inch size. So what I would do is I would just take my ruler. I mean, this is just what I would do, and you all have a good imagination too, so you might come up with better things. But I would come through and I would poke a hole maybe every quarter of an inch with an awl, I would just poke the holes in there and then stitch it by hand. I don't know. That would just be an idea as well. Not sure a 3 or 5 hole pamphlet stitch would hold it, but it might. I don't know. Another question I've gotten on this, and a couple times, is the waterfall. People just don't, they have questions about the water. Why a waterfall? I mean, I don't know why. Only because it's what Tim Holtz did. You definitely could make this. You could definitely make this full pages, right? Without any of the waterfall effect. You can make a full page, just like a signature, and just sew it in and have full pages. I mean, you can do anything you want here. I just did this because when you opened it up, you could see the different layers of what you have done. And this is more of a of an artistic type of folio probably than a writing folio. That's why even with the Tim Holtz folio, there comes a little writing journal type of setup with it. This is just more of a collection of maybe, collaging. If you're using it for a travel folio, you might be collaging all your memorabilia. So the waterfall effect allows you to kind of open it up and see all this wonderful stuff you've put in there, and it just gives it that layered effect. So, but you don't have to do a waterfall. You can do whatever you want here. Obviously, I would probably use cardstock, though. If you're going to be attaching a lot of memorabilia, I would probably use, cardstock. And you could just take, however wide you wanted it. I don't have a sheet right off right away here. I'll just get the scrap piece of paper. So this is your cardstock. You can just fold it in half like that and fold as many, there's 1, 2, 3. So there's three sections, or 3 pieces here. You can do 3 pieces of cardstock as wide and long as you want, and just attach them there in the middle, and then just have the whole thing, So the tutorial is just my take on it is all. I just tried to stay true to what this folio is about. So, okay, enough on that. Hopefully that kind of clears up some questions. Another question I have had as well, and not just this time, but in past, I've had this question. So you have an envelope that has this triangle or this dip inside, because that's how these envelopes are set up. They're not, not like the square envelopes where you have, this here set up. Okay, you have this. And there's different ways for you to approach this. One way is you can take your decorative paper, and the decorative part is showing up, the part that you want to see. And you can cut it to where you can slip it in there, right? So I probably would cut it so it fit in a little tighter than this, but you can cut it in, and then you can take your pencil and lightly trace it right around like this. Okay, so when you're done, you are going to have this on your pattern paper. So when you go to cut it, you're going to cut it on this side of your line all the way around. And then you can glue that over your triangle. Now you may ask, well, why not put the decorative part down and draw on the back side? You can try that. But what the problem I came in with is that these are not equal. They don't often, this whole thing, you can even see here where it's not even meeting in the same angle on this side as it does on this side. You can see that this kind of goes down further than this one does. So you know, here, even here you can see it. So I found that doing it this way, I get an exact match. But you are free to do the way it works for you, of course. Now, the second thing is another way you can do this is get rid of that triangle. And so that would just be to cut your decorative paper how you would like it. And then I would recommend either folding down a piece like this and gluing it down so that that edge is well reinforced, or you can mount this onto a piece of cardstock and do it that way. But either way, you want that edge to be reinforced because that's where your stuff is going to go in and out. You want to come down a little bit because, you know, if you are putting this into your journal or under something like that, okay, you're putting the crease in there. You want room to get your ephemera in and out. So you don't want it to go all the way to the crease here. You want it to come down at least a ½ inch. And then to put this in here, you don't want to glue the whole piece of paper, the whole section and put it down, because then you're going to glue this shut, right? So you just have to remember that you're going to glue right along here. And then you can glue inside this body, and if you want to, you can glue just the edge, just to make sure your paper stays down well, right along here, and leave this area opened, and then lay it down and glue it in. Okay, and that way you're getting rid of that dip if you don't like the way it looks, and you have a straight edge. And then if you want to, you can come in here and trim off, you know, these little pieces here if you don't like the way they look. So that is a couple of ways to work with the triangle envelopes, if that's what you would like to do. So thank you so much for those questions, because if you have a question, then I know other people have it as well. And I do read all my comments. I appreciate each and every one of them, and I try to answer them. It may take a day or so, so check back, but I try to answer them the best I can do that. And we will be talking to you real soon. You have a great evening, and see you soon. Bye.